Hey guys, I'm Rick, and that is One Big Pile of Bricks on location at BBX with Brent Waller. Woo! Hey Brent, how you doing?
Not too bad, yourself?
Pretty good. Now, explain to everyone watching and listening at home why we have you on the podcast.
Why do you have me on the podcast?
Well, you had one of the original Lego ideas.
Yeah, so I was the fan designer, I think they call it, of the original Ecto 1 on Lego Ideas.
Yeah.
Back when it was still Kuso. So
yeah, old school.
When I submitted it was still Kuso, and then I got the call saying it was done and being made. They told me right then there it's going to be Lego Ideas. So I think mine was the first released under the Lego Ideas.
Yours is the first rebranded one, right? Because the rest was it the sub first?
Sub, yeah, I think it might have been the sub.
Yeah, and then a Mars rover maybe?
No, there was like because there's the Japanese one.
Yeah.
There's like a satellite or something. Or
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. I don't even know how to pronounce it because I'm gonna butcher it.
Yeah, but that was even before my time.
Oh wow,
Japanese. Remember, it was like Japanese.
Yeah, it was Japanese based or something.
Yeah,
it was Lego Japan's
like
idea.
two, and then that moved on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I did that, and I did Lego Seinfeld a couple of years ago, and just worked for Lego Batman movie for a couple of months.
So with, I know you can't say much. So with the Lego Ideas Ghostbusters, what was your reaction when you first got the call?
Well, I didn't get the call originally because back then you just found out the same day everyone else did. So I went to bed one night, woke up, and I had all these messages congratulating me. I'm like, what for? Like, no one's actually saying what it was for. So I'm going online looking up, and it's like, oh, and I saw the email.
Yeah.
It's like, and I just remember walking into the dining room where everyone was having breakfast, like, I just got a Lego set made. Like, I didn't have anything to say.
You would have been like one of the first outside of Japan to get it made, right? Like,
I think the Mars guy, I can't
remember the order because it's been like,
and there was a screw up with the ordering of the numbering too. I think mine was number 8, I think, and there was 7 came out after mine. Exosuit was, I think, before me.
Oh yeah, that's right, the Exosuit with the green
and
space.
DeLorean.
Yeah.
So those ones were before me, but I think I was the first Australian.
And how you can't talk about numbers, and I totally respect that.
Yeah.
How well did you do off it?
Oh, it's done all right, but like I still have to go to work every day.
Yeah. It's not going to be, because I know it's 1%. Well, publicly, it's 1%.
Yeah.
We can talk about it. No one's going to get in trouble, thankfully.
Yeah.
How did you find being like recognized for creating the Ghostbusters set?
Well, that's what got me to work on Lego Batman, basically, because they saw my Flickr page full of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's like, I didn't approach them or apply for a job. They just say, hey, we need some builders for the Lego Batman movie. Do you want to do some stuff? I'm like, sure, I love Batman.
Well, that's awesome. So obviously you submitted the Ghostbusters car. Now, you also submitted the Ghostbusters firehouse.
Yeah.
How, I know what the answer is, but I'm going to ask anyway. How was your reaction when you found out they were releasing an official one?
Well, I thought it was a joke because I thought surely they'd tell me if they were doing that first. And because when I initially submitted it, you could edit the project.
Oh, you could? Wow.
And then, so originally it was just the car. The first submission was just the car and the minifigs. Then I did the firehouse afterwards and added it while it was still getting votes.
Yeah.
They then changed it to not allow you to do that. And now they're allowing you to do it, but you have to get approved. You have to submit your change and get approved in case it changes the scope of whatever you're doing. So I understand why they've done it. But, you know, I remember posting out, there's a rumor on Reddit, I think, about it. I was like, I did this big long spiel about why I didn't think it was real because surely they would have told me.
Yeah.
And there was another guy, Sergio.
He was pissed.
You
can swear it's fine. He was pissed. He was like, when I mean Warpath, it was like a nuke was going to get dropped on Lego.
Yeah, because he had he did like a public letter to Lego about it.
Because his was very similar to the official one Lego released.
Yeah, and he asked me, he was giving me some advice. He asked my advice on because he saw that I'd done it before. And I'm like, fine. I think I gave him the tip of because he wanted to put the containment unit.
Yeah.
I said, just put it under the stairs and that can be the basement. And the Lego did that in the original one as well. But yeah, he was not happy and he wanted me to put my name on that letter.
And you were like, nah. Well, and also too, like someone like yourself, you're a very talented guy. I'm sure there'll be more Lego ideas submissions coming along the line. You don't want to bite the hand that feeds you.
That's basically what it is. And I think that's a bit what it's like with most people with Lego. It's like, that's the way if you want to play the Lego game, you've got to play it by their rules.
We've been selling Lego a long time. I totally understand that. Some things Lego do I don't agree with, and that's fine because that's your personal opinion, but you just don't air it out and you'll be fine. Like, that's the best way to be. You're just like, nod your head, yep, no worries, yep, that's good. Like, did you feel like they borrowed some of your design?
Not really, because it's a slightly smaller footprint. Mine didn't have an interior at all. Mine was just a facade. So
so yours didn't have anything on the inside at all. Wow.
And yeah, it's based on the same building. So it's only,
and it's a public building in New York, so like anyone can build it, right? Like,
and there's only so many ways you can build it differently within Lego. You're gonna have some crossover.
Well, you're always gonna have crossover with that stuff, right? You're always gonna have some weird merging and crossovers, and
and that's like even the original car is different from mine. And this is me thinking in retrospect. The big Ecto they've got now, it's got Chrysler branding all over it. Whereas mine didn't.
Wow.
I'm wondering. I work in video games as a I know there's a rule if you're replicating an existing car or anything, it has to be like a certain percent different. It's not the actual car. I wonder if that's some of the differences in my original one was because they didn't back then have the license for the Chrysler.
It makes sense. It was like Lego released a McLaren. Had the Pirelli on the tires, got in trouble, so they had to re-release it with that weird blur on the tires. But you can still get the Pirelli one if you look like. But it's the same deal. I think like they didn't get permission and they just did it and assumed it was going to be all right. And Pirelli's like, which on Pirelli's move, it's dumb because everyone's seeing your tire. So I don't get it. So with the success of Ghostbusters, what made you think about submitting another Lego Ideas?
Well, the initial one after that was Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. So, I would have loved that, man. This is me not gloating, but I think my actions have caused them to change rules a few times now. Because after that, they submitted Stay Puft. It got through fairly quick.
Straight away. I remember it was like a few weeks. It was like quick.
Yeah, they've changed the rules that now if a IP has been, or a license has been introduced through Lego Ideas, you can't then submit. No one can submit Ghostbusters from now on. No one can submit Back to the Future. You can't.
It's so sad that we're in a state where they're like, you can't do that. Like, I know Lego's big now, but still, it's like a bit difficult. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because I don't. Looking back in retrospect, I don't think my Stay Puft was great, but I think they could have made a good product of it. Like that's one of the iconic.
Maybe we might be getting one in the future, and it might be eerily similar to yours for no reason.
Right, well, there's the new movie coming out, so I'm assuming there's going to be.
Yeah, maybe they might do Stay Puft in the new movie. That'd be cool.
Well, they've got the little dude, so maybe they'll do like a little.
That would have been a bit because I believe your Ecto one is featured in the game. Lego Dimensions, is that right? A variant of it, you can drive it.
I can't remember. I know there is a Stay Puft. It's completely different. I know one of the guys that worked on it. I think the car's there, but that's their license, so they can do what they want with it. So that's another thing I didn't know they were doing Dimension stuff either.
Well, and this is I think I've got to be careful how I word this because I don't get in trouble. I love Lego, and what I'm saying is opinions of my own and nothing to do with the Lego group. And same with Brent. What we say here is our opinions and nothing to do with the Lego group. Doesn't reflect their opinion. Now that is out of the way.
Yeah.
I think too that communication sometimes is not there.
Yeah.
And I think it's hard for fan designers like you.
For the company of their size, I think it's hard because I'm sure individuals would like to communicate, but I think there's probably
I think there's a lot of politics in the background, because I know when we email Lego, it's like 100 emails to get what you want.
Yeah.
Like we're dealing with marketing now about stuff and it's like, I always know it's like 30 emails later. You're like, why can't I just directly email the person? Like, that's not how we do it. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Then I'll do it your way.
Yeah.
But how did you find the reception with Seinfeld compared to Ghostbusters?
Well, in terms of how well they both did, I think they're both on par because I think at the time.
Did they sell equivalently the same or not really? I know you can't say much, but
I don't know the exact numbers, but it seemed like it was similar. And I think partially it was at the time Ghostbusters was out. We didn't have a Lego store in Australia.
Yeah.
We had to get them from, I think back then even Ideas stuff wasn't in regular mainstream circulation.
We had it.
Yeah, you had to go to Lego or that was it.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the first that came out in Myer and Toy Worlds, I think.
Yeah.
Now you can get it at pretty much everything.
I remember when DeLoreans came out and Lego Australia were bringing them in and we brought them in. We sold, I think in the end it was 3,000 DeLoreans.
Yes.
And you think times whatever, 50, 60 bucks or whatever it is a lot of money. And same with the Ghostbusters car. I think out of all the Lego Ideas, the DeLorean and the Ghostbusters car have been the best selling ones.
Oh, really?
Because that's nostalgia, right? That was before Lego started pumping out Captain America Shield and all this other stuff they're doing now. That was the first nostalgia trip, right? Well, now obviously they got the bigger ones and it's different. But at the start, I'll never forget when we first got the Ghostbusters car, I was like, mate, this is insane. Like, who would ever think that we were kids?
I don't think Seinfeld was comparatively as popular in the broad Lego community. But I think because Lego is so much bigger now, it's kind of
Yeah, but it must have been a surreal experience seeing Jerry Seinfeld and Jimmy Fallon dressed up as Lego characters.
Another one was I had no idea that was happening.
Seriously.
I woke up a Saturday morning and I just saw it pop up in my feed. I'm like, the hell? It was like a Netflix commercial.
Yeah.
Bryan Cranston. They had, what's his name? The guy who plays Putty.
Yeah. They had them all involved,
I was like, the hell? And that's because I submitted something to Lego Ideas.
That must be like the ultimate form of flattery. Like you submitted this thing and it's just taken off.
Yeah, so I can only assume not only was Jerry dressed up as a Lego version of himself, I'm assuming at some point he probably built the set.
Yeah, he would have, right? You would assume he'd have it. Like he'd probably have 1,000 of them in some warehouse somewhere. Like, so with the Seinfeld one, what was the process different to?
Oh, it's completely different. So Ghostbusters, I had a call probably the day after.
Seriously,
it was announced.
Yeah.
And they basically showed me the final box art and said, "What do you think?" It was already in production. And
wow, because they must have already knew and got it sorted. Bang, we'll see you later.
And they asked for a picture of, because they have my face in the manual.
Yeah.
They asked for a picture and I gave them one. And I said, it was like a Friday I gave it to them. And I know a guy who used to come to the Lego shows here who's got full Ghostbusters kit, which I've now got one for myself. And I said, can I borrow that? And I'll get a photo of myself dressed up.
Yeah.
And I did that, sent it to them on Sunday night. And they said, sorry, it's too late. It's already in printing. And then Seinfeld was completely different. I was in there from the earliest days. I saw their early prototypes.
Wow.
I got to give feedback, make suggestions. I had actual input.
Wow, you had actual input into the set.
Yeah, so I can't remember. I think I suggested the Commando air conditioning unit.
Yeah.
And just us. And some of the stuff they came up with is awesome, like stuff I would never thought of. Little in jokes and stickers all over the fridge and stuff. Because the team that made it, they're all fans. Like,
yeah.
I don't know if I heard they volunteered.
Oh wow!
I heard Lego Ideas designers volunteer, but I'm not sure if that's true or not. But it makes sense because they were all hardcore Seinfeld fans.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
In some ways, they knew more than I did in certain things.
Well, and that's the thing, right? I guess they have to watch the show like X amount of times to get certain quirks into the set, right?
And I think they suggested, I don't know if I'm giving away too much information, but I think they suggested they tried to get it done themselves.
Wow.
They have something where they can submit ideas internally and just never got passed.
Wow. Yeah, they have this thing. There's a real weird Danish word they use for it. A friend of mine who works with Lego, you know a lot of them too, a lot of these designers, they tell me like once a week they can submit a design they want and the Lego go, oh, yeah, that's cool. And they go, oh, no, look, it's too big or whatever.
Yeah.
Because they were talking about doing, last room I heard they were going to do like a Lego Masters line where they were going to sell a trophy. You could like build the trophy. Okay. But obviously, they just don't want random people owning a Lego Masters trophy, right? Like, because then it takes away the specialty of Lego Masters.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it comes down to timing. Like, and that's the beauty of Lego Ideas. They can prove that there's at least 10,000 people.
Yeah.
I don't know. They probably extrapolate that to mean they can X amount of sales, but if someone's submitting it internally, they don't know if there's a market.
I wonder how much sales they need to do to justify a Lego set, like 100,000 units, 200,000 units.
Because apparently, aren't they doing new parts or at least a new color in every set?
Dude, it's insane. Like, so I've noticed recently every set has a new part.
Yeah.
It worries me because this is the track they went down last time.
When they're making fiber optic stuff that costs too much money.
And they lost money and the company nearly went broke. Like, because this is danger zone, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I think they're trying to beat out the copycats by making different parts. But in saying that, some of the like clone brand sets have some really nice parts. So it's like,
yeah, I've not looked too much at clone, but I see ads pop up and they have part like the profile bricks. They have ones in 1x3.
Dude, they've got this new. It's like I think it's Kobe. They've got like a 1x2 brick that has a slope in it like that, so you can input a part in it like that. So shit like that. Completely different. Like it's just insane.
I've noticed too. The new parts they are bringing out. They're adding stuff in that they know can be used for other uses.
Yeah.
Like I just saw the redesigned the spoon recently.
Yeah,
it had like a little thing at the bottom, and now it's straight. I was like, I assume that means that they can put that inside a bar hole.
Yeah, because didn't it used to have like a little?
Yeah, it's like a flared out. Hilt kind of thing on it.
Just think how much money they're spending on new parts. It's good for guys like you who build out like BBX and stuff and display stuff.
I can't keep up though. Like
Mate,
building stuff digitally.
I own a store and I can't even afford half the stuff that they bring out.
I built a thing for the Bricklink designer program that didn't get through.
Yeah.
I still haven't built it with the right colors myself yet because I used a 1x4 arch tile.
Oh wow.
In blue. I was like, surely that's common.
Yeah.
It was on the palette that they give you to be able to design these things. went to order it, it came in one set and only one in that one set. And it only came out this year.
That's crazy, right? Like they made this part and just put one in, like, and the color and all the time that goes into this stuff.
Yeah, some sort of Harry Potter make your own
of
thing.
course it was. So which item did you submit to the Bricklink design program?
Well, the one I was referencing was a Exoplanet Explorer. It's like a classic space.
I voted for that.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people did, but they didn't get through.
Oh, that's a shame. And I like classic space.
Yeah, I did an arcade before that, a modular arcade. That one didn't get through either. So I put the instructions out for their Exoplanet Explorer, and the arcade I will do, but it's so big it takes time.
Well, and it's time and effort with no guarantee return, right?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I think I've sold 2 since I did 2 instructions, and that took me a month.
Well, and that's the thing. That's what always fascinates me about Bricklink designer programs, and like, you know, you can sell your instructions like reversible and stuff. You have to sell a monumental amount to justify the time.
Well, now that I've done a few of those on Rubrical, the one that's done the most is I did an alt build of the Galaxy Explorer.
Did you really?
And it's a completely different ship using mostly the same parts.
Oh, cool.
All the same parts. I think that's more appealing to people, knowing that they can just buy the set. Not have to fart around on Bricklink, buying from 12 sellers and grabbing bits and pieces. So I think in future I might try to do more of those kind of ones.
Well, it makes sense. And then you've also done a run of classic Spaceman in different colors?
Yeah, I've stopped doing that now because the guy who was printing them for me just doesn't print anymore. He was down in Adelaide and he stopped printing. So the real reason I do it is because I want them for myself. And you have to do it in a minimum order of 100.
Oh, Jesus.
So I'm like, well, if I make some and flog them off, then at least I've covered my costs and I've got what I want out of it.
Well, and that's the problem with custom printed stuff. Like, there's a lot of custom printing guys now that do all that stuff.
Yeah.
But you get kind of stuck where it's like, oh shit, I have to order X amount.
Well, because the ones I had done were pad printed.
Oh, yeah,
like Lego does, because you can't do the metallic.
It's like my minifigure, it's pad printed, because I'm like, the guy I see and get it done from, I won't mention his name because Lego will go after him for the logo, but I have to order a minimum of 1,000.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not cheap, but I do it because I can give them out to people, you know, like, but it's just, it always fascinates me how many printing companies there are now for Lego.
Yeah, a lot of them use the digital stuff, which is fine for small runs, but I prefer the real thing.
Well, and also too, the digital stuff starts to look a bit weird after a while, and I don't like it's not as like, I don't know how to say it, like pretty, if that makes sense, you know?
Yeah, it catches the light, and if you rub your finger along it, you can kind of feel that it's raised on the surface, whereas pad printing is like, you can't feel it.
So with the success of the 2 other Lego ideas that you submitted, are you going to submit another one?
I think they're over my shit by now. I don't know. Because I submitted a few that I thought were shoo-ins.
Yeah.
And they didn't get through. And I don't know if that's
Does that knock your confidence a little bit? Like, I'm going to fucking get this, and then it doesn't happen.
Well, I was like, because I go through phases where I just have no ideas. I can't think of anything. Or just a creative rut. I just don't do anything. And then I went through a period, just around COVID, like I did the bonsai.
Yeah.
I did X-Files. I did the calendar.
I'm surprised that none of those got through.
Well, we know why the bonsai didn't, because they were making their own. The calendar I thought was a shoo-in, because it's like,
it's perfect.
It's something that appeals to a broad amount of people.
Yeah.
It's useful. It's an interesting concept. I don't know if it's just you've already got 2.
Yeah.
That's enough for you. There's no rules in there that say that that's the case, but maybe that's just an internal thing. They're like, why we give it to this guy? Give it to this guy.
Maybe it is. Maybe there's like, because is there anyone else that's got more than 2?
No. So that's why I was like, I've got 2 now. I was like, I should try and get 3 and just be the guy who has only got 3, or the first guy to get to 3.
So I don't know if you can talk about this. When you get a Lego ideas, you know, it goes through, it's awesome. At the end of the product, like it's come to production, did they give you any? Like, did they give you some?
That's common knowledge. You get 9.
9. So you get 9 straight up. They send you 9.
So Ghostbusters, like I remember getting it delivered at work, and just 9 of them before it came out, but I wasn't allowed to show it or do anything.
And you would have been like little school kid, like, oh my God, like.
Because it came to work and I was like, I'm not working this afternoon. I just sat there and made it at my desk.
Yeah, and you would have been wrapped. It would have been like exciting.
And Seinfeld's the same, like just as soon as you get it, you just want to get it straight away.
And you've signed a few sets, is that right? Did you do it at any appearances at any stores and signing some stuff?
Back Ghostbusters, there was no stores.
Yeah.
I've signed more Ghostbusters than anything, because remember Lego used to give more support for the lots?
Yeah.
I think we ordered just Ghostbusters for everyone that year, and I just signed all of them.
Every single one, right?
Yeah. And then one of the Richie from the Perth Lug, he organized for me to buy a bunch, sign them, then send them to them for their lug. And I was like, I'll do it free. You just pay for the cost of the parts. You pay for the cost of the parts and the sets and shipping, and I'll just
sit there and sign like
them all.
crazy.
So I don't care. I'll get my cut because I'll get my.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So I've signed a ton of those, and then Seinfeld was during COVID. We had one lined up for Chermside. I went and did a photo shoot for it beforehand because I was going to advertise it, and then they had another lockdown, and then they just never happened.
Yeah.
So that's been disappointing.
Because you've been the only Australian designer, is that right?
The guy who did piano I think he's.
Oh, yeah, I've had him. Oh, I'm sorry. I've had him on a
Donnie?
podcast. Yeah. I've had him on a podcast. Sorry, Donnie. Sorry. I totally forgot. Oh, my God.
I think he's originally from China, but he lives in Australia.
Yeah.
So he's here, the piano.
I had him on a podcast. He signed a piano for me, like 2 Rick James, like a box. And he signed a bunch and we sold them in store straight away. I'm like, yeah, sign as many as you want.
Yeah.
Because people like that stuff, like, and I sold every single one. And then, sorry, Donnie, I sold my one too because the customer was like, I'll pay you double. I was like, yeah, I sold.
Yeah, well, I've already signed a Seinfeld today and I signed someone's bonnet of an Ecto.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Well, so, I've done a few bonnets now. For some reason, that is the piece to do because it's a nice, big, clean one.
Yeah.
The first time I did that, I was like, I'm going to wreck this piece.
Well, and you don't want to be like signing because like you're a purist, right? You don't want to be like,
yeah.
Like wrecking someone's Lego set,
Yeah.
But if they get in a spare bonnet, you could just like...
Yeah, that's I'd probably recommend them. Just get a spare one.
So after all the Lego ideas and stuff you've done and reflecting on how that went, how do you think the overall reaction from the fan community has been to both of your sets?
I think most people don't care about the fan designers. They don't give a shit. Like,
look, I appreciate you honest.
When they come here and they see that, the guy who made that's here, they'll go, cool, I'll get it signed. But I don't think they really...
Yeah,
shit.
It's not like a Lego like designer, right? Like,
yeah, it's not really like.
It's really funny. I find it really weird that, like, I don't like to use this word much, but like Lego people are like celebrities now. I find it odd. It's like a really weird space.
Well, I've visited Billund for the first time last year and went and met a bunch of the guys, and they were the reason I went. Like, they were talking about, do you want to get tours of the place? And I just want to go meet all you guys.
Yeah.
And it's had beers with them. And
that's what I did. I caught up with like Justin and Sam and a few other guys because like I don't want photos. I just want to hang out and like have a meal and just be normal. Like, because I don't feel like they would appreciate being harassed for like photos all the time,
Yeah.
But they, so with your first time going to Billund, did you do like the idea house and stuff? Did they take you in?
Yeah, I went to the idea house and got to go down the vault and see my sets.
Cool.
Which that was an emotional.
The vault is full on. When I went there for the first time,
hot.
You go in there, you're like, woo, because they're trying to keep it temperature controlled, right? But it's hot as in there.
Yeah.
And you're just like, this is amazing. There's the amount of stuff, and you can pick your year that you're born. It's
and just seeing my stuff. They didn't have Seinfeld there at the time because
it would have been like they're still getting one, right?
Yeah, he had them. Christian had them in his other storage place, but they hadn't made their way into the inventory yet. So we actually just brought one down just so I could get a photo.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
That was, but yeah, it was just seeing I had to have a moment to myself just to take
emotional,
seeing
dude.
my stuff in the Lego ideas.
It was like I went, I've been to Lego, God knows how many times, but after COVID, I finally got to go to Lego House. Yeah. I'll never forget the feeling. I walked down, you know how downstairs they got that basement area where they've got like that museum area where it's like all the sets, and I'm walking past and I see minifigures and I'm like, whoa. I walk past and one of our minifigures is in the cabinet. I'm like, well, hang on. And I'm just like, because you're like, you feel like you've been recognized. You're like, wow, this is amazing. Yeah. And then I asked like Stuart Harris, the master model builder, it's like, why wouldn't we put it in there? And I was like, wait, what's happening now? Like, because we're a bit of a rogue of the Lego community, We're not an official Lego store, but we sell Lego. We sell a lot of it. So I always feel like an outcast. But when that happened, I was like, oh, I'm actually accepted,
Yeah, well, that's when I was walking around the Lego house. Just there's like a little library section there. And I randomly opened up one of the books, and there's some stuff from the Lego Batman movie that I'd worked on.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
It wasn't my name or anything, but I was like, okay, I've left my footprint there. I went down the very bottom, and they've got like the digital thing where you can just, like what sets you've got, and my 2 sets were down in there.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
And then there's that big castle display. You come down the stairs, you turn around the corner, and the Ecto's sitting right there with lights flashing on it.
When I was there, I saw a kid run through that section, like hop the glass and climb on it. So with the Lego Batman movie, what was the process? What did you design?
So it was not all of it, a lot of the vehicles in the Batcave.
Oh yeah, because that rotunda thing, right? You did that?
A bunch. I didn't do the actual thing, but basically they emailed me and said, we need a bunch of vehicles for the Batcave. Let's get you started on the ones that we want to see.
Yeah.
And that was the 89 Batmobile, which I was planning to design that anyway. So I had reference ready to go.
Yeah.
And I knocked that out in like 6 hours. So that one, and then it was a bunch of canon ones. So there's the original one from the comic, the red one. There's a black version that the Joker wipes his butt on. They didn't want one Schumacher one. They wanted an amalgam of both of them. So I kind of merged both into one design. What else is there? Oh, the Bat tank from the Dark Knight Returns.
Oh, cool.
Comic.
Yeah.
That's on the big carousel. And so I knocked out a bunch of those ones. And then there was all the weird bat boats and vehicles like the pirate ship. And that was a case of a lot of those were taking existing Lego set. And we called it batifying them.
Oh, yeah.
So we fins and made them black and put stripes and stuff on them. And that was so much fun because there's a bat bus and a bat pirate ship. Bat submarine. And the one that didn't get put in the movie, which I've still got the file for, is a bat aircraft carrier. It would have been, if it was real, it would have been like this big. And it had like a little bat plane on it and Robin. But I didn't know anything about the storyline, so I didn't know Robin was like tied to. I thought he was existing, so I just put a Robin helicopter on there. The bat kayak and stuff was stuff they did. Yeah. But they made it perfectly clear nothing you're making is going to make it as a set. So
you're not getting anything. Go crazy. You're like, oh, cool. So did you get to go to the movie premiere, anything like that?
No, I didn't get to go to the movie premiere.
Seriously?
I did. I was in Sydney for something I can't remember. And I did go and meet the guys.
Oh, cool.
Because the Grant Freckleton was the production designer who I work with. He'd worked on the Matrix sequels and stuff, which the Matrix movie is why I got into video games. So
that would have been like a fanboy moment. Right?
And I got to see that it's got a bunch of the prototypes from the Lego Batman movie sets on the shelf, and there's like 3D printed cannabis that they hadn't produced yet. So I got to see a lot of that stuff. But that was around the time of Lego Movie 2. He's like, all right, I've got to cut this meeting short because I've got to go have a preview screening of Lego Movie 2 to review the final shots.
Like, wow. I think from the Lego movie, I think Lego Batman is my favorite next one.
Well, I'm biased.
Lego Movie 2, meh. Yeah.
And I was surprised to see my Batmobile show up in the Lego Movie 2 as well. Yeah. For 3 seconds, I did that.
Yeah, like I did that stuff. All right, man. Well, thank you so much for the chat. I appreciate taking your time. I know I've been trying to pin you down for a while, and flying to places is hard. But I appreciate you. Jason appreciates it. Our awesome camera dude.
Thank you.
Where did you want to link? Instagram? What do you want me to?
I'm just Waller Customs on Instagram.
I'll pin him on Instagram. Jason will do some magic, and I think that's it. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.